thing is on.
So here,
We're good to go. Alright guys, Coach Nate here. Got a confession to make. I have an Achilles injury. It is something that I've been trying to maintain, but I do not think I am winning the war, even though I've been able to kind of suffer through some races. So in this video, I'm going to show you the things that I've done that have kind of prevented it from getting worse, but I'm also calling in the reinforcements. I'm gonna go see my buddy, Dr. Hal Rosenberg, who is going to give me a full assessment. He is going to pull out some treatment strategies, some ART, some Graston technique, as well as some other strength exercises in the hope that me sharing this with you, they'll give you a sense of the things that you can do on your own, and also when it's important to actually go see someone when you're dealing with your own stuff. Let's go see Hal. Hey guys, if you recognize Mr. Mario,
What's going on, fans of the run experience? Good to see you again.
Just went to go get a little tune-up.
Yeah, a little body work.
Yeah, me too.
Today's self-care day for me. I got a little ART this morning.
It is Valentine's Day.
I've got a massage this afternoon. I am hampering myself.
Well, I'm just getting a little bit of work in. That Achilles. Started feeling better. Started starting to respond. All right, we were in the office with Dr. Hal Rosenberg, and Hal, this is our second visit.
Yes, welcome back.
Welcome back. I'm here.
How's it going since we met the last time?
You know, the foot is feeling a little bit better. The calf Achilles, it was good to get some work in there. I didn't run yesterday. I did kind of some strength training, but just kind of moving around, it's good. I think my left hip is feeling a little tenderness from some of the ART work. But I thought you could, maybe just sort of describe like what you saw with me and some of the work that you decided to do.
So what we found, we did a full assessment of your mechanics last week, and we found some restriction, not just within the Achilles where it was taking on some increased load there, but there was some limited movement patterns within the hip and rotation in the pelvis, and just getting that integration of the whole lower kinetic chain to start to integrate and
get that going there.
To function as a whole unit together.
Yeah, and you've got a bunch of tools at your disposal, which hopefully we can show, but we did a combination of things. You did a little bit of body work, both chiropractic and ART, and then you also pulled out some other toys to do a little scraping on the calf and Achilles itself.
Right, so we did some active release around some of the hip rotators to get those released, moving better. We did some adjustments on the pelvis to get that moving better. We did some rock bleach treatment, instrument assisted soft tissue mobilization made by Rock Tape. And cool. So their approach with this is what we're trying to do is kind of restore that neurologic connection between the brain and the area of injury, and sometimes that the neurologic connection just it's not integrated well enough, and it gets overloaded. So we're just trying to get a nice comfortable stimulus into there to let the brain and the body know that it's okay to have a little bit of movement. There might be some injury there, but it's okay to still have some movement there.
This is interesting because I'm going to show some of the self-treatment strategies I was trying to do, just kind of at home, and I felt like I was, maybe preventing things from really getting worse, but I hadn't cracked that nut yet. I hadn't figured it out, and I felt like I was in this sort of feedback loop of it was feeling a little painful and it was just sort of shut down. And so what's interesting is with some of the strategies you were using was to get me out of that little feedback loop and to sort of break that pattern.
Exactly. So we want to get it to where your body can move well with less pain. And when it starts to do that, it starts to stimulate the body's healing process, as well as it takes away that neurologic shutdown where the brain is just trying to guard and protect that area.
I like that. So on to round two.
On to round two.
Let's do it.
Sounds great.
So I still got my tape on from last session, although some of the tape fell off when I took a shower pretty immediately. There's supposed to be tape down here as well. But I just snipped a little through this. But this stayed on, so I thought I'd just leave that there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is good. And it should stay on for the most part. It's in a high tension area, so it might start to come up a little bit. But we'll see if we can get it to adhere a little bit better so that doesn't happen again.
Perfect.
today.
All right, where are we starting?
Let's go ahead and lay on your back here. We'll take a quick assessment and see where we left off from last time.
Cool.
We'll go ahead and pop this tape off here.
All right. New tape. All right, so we just got some good work in. A little summary. We did initially some ART work in the hip, and then we did some Graston technique with a little metal tool, like 3 to 5 minutes of work there with a little bit of rock sauce to kind of help
Rock
with
sauce,
that stuff.
rock blades, rock tape.
And that helps bring some blood flow into the area. We were talking about traditionally the idea of like breaking up any little muscle adhesions and scar tissue,
yeah.
but also you were saying neurologically it kind of helps reset things a little bit.
To just give a comfortable stimulus into the body that's different than pain, to allow it to know that it's okay to have some safe movement in there.
Then we did some tape on the foot, and then finally we did a little hip adjustments because my hip gets a little funky. What does the hip adjustment play? Why is that important?
So we want to have just good movement within the lower back, the spine, the pelvis, the hips, and have good integrated movement there. If it's not movement that moves equally or symmetrically, and there's some restrictions there, then it's going to allow and lead to some compensations.
Gotcha. So kind of resetting that there, so then all of a sudden, when I get up and walk around, it's like, hey, it actually feels pretty good. Very cool. Anything next? We good? Is that good for today? I got my homework and my exercises.
How are those exercises that we did last
They're
time?
good. I did a set of, I did 3 sets of 10 back and forth yesterday, and then I did as well on Monday, and then I'll do my homework later again today.
Great.
Cool. I was able to run a little bit. The question was like, do I kind of keep running? I'm kind of keeping it to a dull roar. I may mountain bike today. I don't know if I wanted to run immediately after getting that work. What's your thoughts there?
If it feels fine and you're ready to go, then you should be okay to run.
Yeah.
With the normal routine. A lot of people want to know whether it's after treatment or more so kind of in between treatments, like when can they keep going? Like when is it? So a general rule of thumb is that if something maybe a little bit of tight or tender or some mild pain, kind of in the lower range, 2 to 3, and they warm up, they do some good mobility and movement prep before they run, they go out. If it starts to loosen up, feels better, keep going.
Yeah.
If it worsens, tightens up, and especially if you start to compensate with your
Other areas,
with other areas, with your form, your technique, and that starts to break
That happens
down.
so often, right? You hurt like your left Achilles or your left IT band, and all of a sudden things in your right side start feeling pretty bad.
You start moving differently to avoid the pain in order to keep going. But that's the time when you want to shut it down, if you can't take care of it with some self techniques, and that's when it's time to go in and get it evaluated professionally.
That's cool. Well, thanks, Hal.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Beautiful. And you're racing on Saturday, 100K.
Black Canyon 100K in Arizona.
Yeah. My rule of thumb is to find your chiropractor that runs further than you do, and then they're probably a pretty good chiro. So, thanks, Hal.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
All right. So, Cal's really encouraged by my progress. It's responding well, and I would like to think that that has to do with a lot of the other work that I'm doing. So guys, remember, this is the most important thing. If you're going to see someone, that doesn't mean that you are off the hook with your own self-care and treatment and strength and mobility. They really go together. I'm doing all the work that I can do to help loosen up my calves and my ankles, and Hal is providing extra work that I can't provide myself, and the two of those things go together. So if you start to see someone or rely on a physio, that doesn't get you off the hook of your own work. In fact, we're gonna go home right now. I'm gonna show you all the exercises that I'm doing at home to reinforce the work that I'm doing with Hal, so that I can really nip this thing in the bud and get back out running up to full speed very soon.